Welcome to Traveler's Tales. I am your host, Greg Alonso. Today I will be your guide as we review your questions and comments, and as we travel back in history to take a look at the daily lifestyle in Antiquity. However, before we begin, just a reminder that we post new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Our first comment is from Josh. Josh said he was surprised to learn that the Minoans had running water in their apartments. Well, Josh, the Minoans were quite the mathematicians. They understood pumps and how to use gravity to their benefit. They also had terracotta pipes in their structures and serviced them as needed. Our next question is from Zach. Zach wants to know how the Minoans could build an apartment building 4 stories high. Well, Zach, Crete is an earthquake zone. Due to these dangers, the Minoans became very astute builders. They left nothing to chance and took safety into consideration. They also saw to it that only the state-of-the-art products of their time were used in all their construction projects. I would also add, imagine if Crete was not an earthquake zone. Who knows how tall they would have built their apartment buildings. Moving right along. Our next question is from Tani. Tani says she wants to know why the Minoans were so big on trade because they seemed to have everything. Well, Tani, what the Minoans didn't have was tin and copper. These 2 ores are needed to make bronze, which was vital at that time. Everything from utensils, tools, and weapons were cast of bronze. So this is the primary motivator as to why the Minoans were big on trade. Let's see. Let's take a look at a question. Here's a good one. Shushan comments that the Minoans painted such lovely frescoes depicting their everyday lives. It is a pity that frescoes are not so popular these days. Shushan, I totally agree with you. I am enthralled with the frescoes of the Minoans. The colors are bright and the characters are filled with life. The Minoans seem to be a very happy people. I was also intrigued with their sport of bull jumping. And I do agree, it is a pity that frescoes are just not so popular with our culture these days. Let's press on. We have another comment. This one is from Lorenda. She loves the colorful and freestyle dress of the women. She likes the long hair that was the fashion of the day. Well, Lorenda, I also like the colorful styles of the Minoan dress. These people seem to put a lot of care into their clothing. Such beautiful colors, patterns, and designs. Like many men, I prefer women to wear their hair long. Minoan women were clearly proud of their long locks. Alright, our next question is from Fabian. He wants to know why the Phoenicians didn't fear the deep, like so many countries whose navies were primarily coastal. Fabian, I would say that there are many things that influenced the mindset of the Phoenician explorers. First and foremost, I believe that they had the spirit of exploration within them. They had an innate curiosity to know what lay beyond what was known. They were also master shipwrights and craftsmen. Granted, there was a vast amount of money to be made in trade and transport, yet I sincerely believe that the Phoenicians were explorers at heart. Let's see, we have a comment from Marta, and her comment is about Phoenician women. Marta said she was surprised to learn of the restrictions on dress imposed on the women. This was before the Levant was infected with male-dominated monotheistic religions. Well, yes, I agree there, Marta. This is a bit strange, considering. The Phoenicians were well-traveled and to some degree influenced by other cultures of the time. After all, trade and information flowed quite freely. Many other Bronze Age peoples were much more relaxed and freer in their dress. We also have another comment. This time it's from Piers. He was very surprised to learn of the Etruscans. Frankly, he thought that the Romans were originators of all things Italian. Piers, most people would be in agreement with you. According to the myth that the Romans created about themselves, they originated from the Trojans, who ventured to the Italian mainland after the fall of Troy. so much of what we attribute to the Romans, they learned and borrowed from the Etruscans. Let's see, Phyllis has a question. She wants to know, why do I think Etruscan men were so open-minded and treated their women as equals? Well, Phyllis, I would hazard a guess that it was due to the value system of the Etruscan people as a whole. There was the belief that the family came first. The Etruscans practiced monogamy, and women held a special status with regard to religious beliefs. The women of Etruria definitely played a vital role in both the family unit and society. We have time for one more question. Let's see here. Jorge has an interesting question about the relationship between the Etruscans and the Romans. He wants to know, since the Etruscans were so far advanced over the Romans, how was it that they were absorbed into the Roman world? Well, Jorge, the simple answer is warfare. The Romans had a much better military and conquered their surrounding neighbors. Their mindset was also much different from the other peoples of Italy. When the Romans saw something as worth having, they took it with little provocation. Where the men of the Tiber were also wise, once they conquered a people, they absorbed them into Roman society. This was done in part by requiring young men to join the legions and faithfully serve. Once they had completed active service, they were eligible for Roman citizenship. This brings us to the end of Daily Life in Antiquity, Part 2. Thank you for joining us on another edition of Traveler's Tales. As a reminder, we post new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon to be notified each time we post new videos. For your convenience, we have also listed our email address and Instagram information. Traveler's Tales will return with Carthage, the Punic Republic. Cartistos.